And they're a good team at keeping momentum in their favor. You saw Clayster getting hyped at the end of that search and destroy. You got to figure that if Clay's having a good game, it translates to his teammates as well, and he shifts the energy over to the rest of his team.
Yeah, this is a Faze team that once they get rolling, they're really hard to stop, and I feel like this is a big event for them just in the standpoint that, like, last year you obviously did not have the placings you wanted. Every event I felt like it was like, oh, this is Faze's chance. Like, this is where they look good. And they never had that, and I feel like this is a good event for them. Like, let's say they go on and they win it, or even if they play second, like where they can really just kind of build on this for the rest of the year.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but Faze, at least from last year, they've always seemed like a team where if they match up better against another team, they're going to win that 100% of the time. But if they match up against like the likes of, maybe another Slay heavy team, they have a bit of a tougher time.
They seem to me where, when they know they're clearly better than the opponents, like, they just play with, like, just a level of, like, I don't want to say, like, arrogance, but I guess that's the word you would use. They just play with a level of arrogance where they know they can't be touched. They know they're going to win these games. But then when you see them, like, lose a game, they start to come back to, like, the real world a little bit. And then that's when, like, they start kind of questioning each other and things come into play that you're just not exactly sure where this Faze team can kind of just find solace and really get together and start playing well again.
And in that situation, I think I put more pressure onto Enable than anybody else on the Faze. I feel like he's the guy to, when things are going wrong for Faze, he's the guy to bring everything back and reestablish the focus of the team. No, I think Clay's definitely more of the hype man, but when the momentum starts to die down, Clay also starts to get a little bit more quiet. And I think Enable is just like the clear, like, calm, collected person on the team that's like, hey, guys, let's refocus here. Let's look at where we are in the series and start to come back.
Yeah, it's like you need different leaders in different situations.
Yeah.
It's like if everybody's, like, down and just, like, down, like, emotionally, just drained, it's like that's when you need Clay to really, like, hype everybody up, get everybody back in the game mindset-wise. I feel like when you do need that calming presence, I feel like Enable would be the better option. I know sometimes working with Clay, like, he can go a little crazy. He's, like, starting to scream. He's getting everybody hyped, and then, like, things go wrong, he's like still yelling, and then usually when like things are going wrong, nobody wants to hear anybody yell like in their ear or whatnot. It's good to hear a calming voice like Enable, probably.
Yeah, communication starts to die down as well, and Enable just refocuses the entire team. It's something that I think throughout his many years of competing, probably the skill that he's picked up.
It's just the experience. You just pick that up from competing. Like, you've played in every situation, you know what to do, you know what to say. Enable, just an FPS veteran. But if you're just tuning in, it's going to be Game 3 between Faze and Orbit. It'll be Uplink on Throwback for Game 3. This is one that we both figure that Faze should be able to close this series out. But Orbit, they will not go down without a fight. They looked better towards the end of that hardpoint game. Search and destroy, it was just basically a battle of the offensive sides where Faze was able to win, one more defensive round and end up taking it. But going into Uplink, Revan, on this map specifically, is there one side you would look at right now and favor more than the other?
I would say the sides, for the most part, seem a little bit more 50-50, but there's definitely a side of the map that we want to push to control, and that's over near the bike path side of the map. If you're able to push that, regardless of the side, you spawn the other team out, and you have more options available to you when you want to go for the scores.
Yeah, so the goal from both teams is to control the bike path area, because if we're able to control bike path and push the drone straight up, the opposing team will spawn at the top of the mini-map, and that's just a really wide open field, and with so many ARs in play, it's very difficult to make it down.
Attach looking to be annoying here as he's pushed up near enemy lines, but should get spotted momentarily by Rated as he just repositions himself, and Rated will spot him. Let's switch over to him as he picks up the drone to go down for Faze, and here you go. As Orbit take control of the Faze side of the bike path, they can now push through the grandma's house, make their way for the dunk, but he crosses the 1 point out, and he does wind up getting that. I got to get used to following the drone. It's a new feature. I haven't used it yet.
It's a new feature. You're going to get a chance to play with it, but no, definitely an awesome improvement to Codcaster.
For sure.
And I mean, we're just at the beginning of the game, right? I mean, we have not
only
thought of all the different things. It can only get better. Infinity Ward doing a fantastic job making updates to Codcaster regularly. And you see Urban just going to come through the mid-hallways, able to get one, and the kill feed dominated by Orbit right now. They should be able to pick up the drone and get at least one more point out of this.
Okay, so starting to push forward. Step 1, get control of the bike path side of the map. From there, you can easily settle for a 1 point toss if you want to hit the wall run on the grandma's house, or you could try to push on through for the dunk, as Orbit's still looking for that second cycle of kills before they decide to move in for the score. As Joe falls, here's the first one pushed up for Orbit. Can't get the second, is Rated. Now switching back over to the point of view from Faze as they look to control the middle of the map.
Now Zuma's going to push all the way through bike path, and I like this decision because if he can just pick up some kills on the Orbit side of the map, this is going to force Orbit to rotate all the way back. He's not able to get anything there. Nah.
But attach just goes right through the middle.
I mean, I don't know how Orbit has let this happen, but ooh. So
sure, he could have gotten the dunk, but he plays it safe. Keeps his forward position. But all four go down for Orbit. This is a great position for Faze to be in.
In the position that he was in, though, like, you would have been taking fire, like, if there was anybody. Oh, look at that.
His own teammate just intercepted the toss. But wait, Zuma's finding more kills. This push is still well alive as the drone does get reset. That was just unfortunate for Faze. I mean, he tosses the drone for a shot, but his teammate intercepts it. And
so what happens there is they were throwing the drone into the goal. The player on their team jumped in front of it, intercepted it, and then didn't realize that he had intercepted it because there's that little delay, right? And then he probably thinks he's still firing, just takes it and throws it off of the map. It's about as poorly a coordinated play as you can get there from Faze.
Yeah, that's just unfortunate. Now Zero poised to hit the one-point toss here. He's going to let this one fly. There you go. 6 the one-point toss. Orbit reestablishing their lead here. Still a very fragile one as Zero continuing to slay behind enemy lines. Very important that he maintains this forward position near the top. Well, he's outside Grandma's house, but he wants to back up and try to take out Clayster if possible. Yeah,
and you see it's going to be Zero getting taken out there, but the drone's still in favor of Orbit. It's going to be Faze just trying to make their way back towards middle map. And they've just been pushed all the way back. Orbit's done a fantastic job here in the first half, just gaining map control. But here is Faze's chance. They pick up some kills. They have drone control. Now it's whether they can get down bike path here, but Joe just doing a fantastic job locking down that bridge area.
Yeah, Joe working with Zero just to stay alive and slow down the Faze push here. Joe's actually pushed very far forward. Does spot the final Faze player. Takes out attach from behind. They could not pick up the drone. Oh, but he gets taken out there. As that's just unfortunate. Faze hold on the defensive end. As they start to pick up kills, start to reestablish their map control as well. 3 go down for Orbit. 1 player coming off respawn. This is a well set up push from Faze. Let's see if they can capitalize with this score here.
Yep, keep an eye on the mini-map for those blue arrows. They're spawning in that top side, and if Enable can pick up some kills here off the spawn, this can be a rally for Faze Clan. You're going to see Clay just diving in. He's going to get a 2-point play, and now he's going to get set up all the way in the back by baseball field, and this is where you see on the statue, this is where Faze can make an impact. You see Zuma get one, sees one player fly over him, big kill there, taking out Urban.
Now continuing to push on forward. He still has Clayster to work off of. Will spot one player near the bike path. Earns the bombardment with that kill. Top over to the drone carrier. It's going to be attached. Could pass his teammate for a dunk, but he's going to get it himself as now Faze starting to build a lead. They go up by 3 points. Time winding down the first half.
Yeah, and once you saw Faze get control of that statue area here in the back, you knew they were going to go on a little bit of a relay, and it's still Orbit trying to rotate back, get control of their base. They're just not able to do so thus far. The kill is just being traded beautifully by Faze Clan. Enable now pushes up. He gets to as one player behind him, not able to pick it up. But I can actually hear the communication from the Faze players as Zuma tries to push all the way down through bowling here. Let's see how Faze tries to put another point on the last 15 seconds.
Well, he falls, still streaks to work with. Less than 10 seconds remaining. There's no way Orbit are going to be able to get a toss off here as they start to push forward. Yeah, he's so far back. That's going to do it for the first half. Faze, they surge at the end of the first half, getting dunk after dunk. Zuma getting streaked out. Up by 3 points going into the second half. They're looking good. The closest one out 3-0.
Yeah, and you see how devastating it can be, though, when you get control of bike path and you get control of the drone and you're spawning that team topside. It's when you're trying to get back towards baseball field, spawning in. It's very difficult to fight those fights on the statue.
Yeah, and at the same time, it's like you don't really want to overextend because normally you have a player near the middle trains cutting off the mid tunnel. So if you want to get out of that, you have to go all the way like through barn and towards the other team's side of the map, which is such an investment to make.
It's going to be Faze picking up 2 kills here early at the beginning of the second half, and we'll see now that they grab that third, they're going to grab the drone and try and push up into the base of Orbit, and we'll see the drone gets tossed down here by Enable. Orbit now gets control of their base, and it's going to be Faze just trying to slow this down, use some streaks, and you saw that ending poorly. Like, we all saw that ending poorly.
Through the roof, takes out Enable. Waste of a bombardment there from Zuma as Orbit able to find 2 fighting out of their base behind enemy lines. You see Zuma continuing to do damage. Now it's going to be Joe. Maybe he's a little bit too far pushed up. Let's see, he can't make anything happen. I got to go back over to Zuma. 22 and 12 right now. Still with some streaks to work with. As he falls, it's Enable, the next one in line.
Now, all Faze has to do is control this bike path area. I just want to keep putting this emphasis on it. That this is the area of the map that Enable's fighting and that you need to control if you're going to win this map on uplink. Because just spawning that team out topside. It just forces those long rotations back to the base. And even if they want to go on the overextension, they really only have that one rails area to get through in the middle of the map. And it's such an easy choke to lock down.
Scorchers don't pick up anything as Zuma calls them in. 2 fall for Orbit. Continue to push on forward, Enable with this positioning to work with. Still, Faze more concerned about getting kills around the map and slaying the opposing team than moving the objective second. But this has given Orbit some valuable breathing room. They now push up on the map. Joe looking to control the enemy team side of bike path, but it looks like Clayster knows exactly what's going on. Only a moment before he's able to pick up that kill. Attach looks like he's got his rewind ready to work with. Still, Faze looking to slay first, play the objective second.
Yeah, I mean, we have not seen any points go down here in the second half, but Faze has clearly been in control. You can just see the 1-point throw go over the top. That is going to miss. It looks like there's going to be 2 players, though, that were actually in the base of Orbit from Faze. They get quickly cleaned up, though. It's going to be Zero able to grab 1 as he pushes out with Rated. Now Orbit looks to go on the offensive.
Okay, moving over to Clayster. He's pretty close to his overdrive payload, and we don't know how impactful that could be, especially in a game of like uplink. Could force a score to happen as now Orbit's starting to push forward. Looks like Urban used his payload. Not going to have that for his next respawn. Pushing forward, 3 go down for Faze. It's going to be Joe. Bombardment. Actually, Trinity Rocket's not being called in. Joe finds Attach. Trinity Rockets don't find much. Zuma, not a lot accomplished with his score streaks, but still Faze able to slow the game down with them. 2 fall for Orbit. Faze now looking to fight back from their base.
Yeah, it's just by watching this game through the first, 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes or so, it's just been Faze all on the Orbit side of the map. Like, this is the first opportunity we're seeing Orbit actually get into Faze territory. Like, that's why it's kind of odd. For a second half that we've seen no scores, I feel like it's really been dominated by Faze Clan this far.
Yep, as 2 far from Faze. That was a good opportunity if Zero was able to stay alive because he had his own overdrive to work with. And now Rated, he's thinking a little too far ahead here. He's already second for the spawn trap when his teammates don't even have control over the middle of the map. Seems like Orbit, they're skipping steps when it comes to getting this relay down and getting scores on the board.
I understand what he's trying to do. He's trying to force players of Faze to rotate back, and he's trying to open up some more lanes for his teammates to operate. But Faze is just not biting for it. Right there, though, you're going to see Urban and Ray to pick up a kill at the same time. So now it's going to open things up for Ray to get set up on the statue and for the spawn trap to come in. That's a huge kill there on a Clayster rotating back to the base.
But Rated falls, and now Urban's forced to drop the drone. Finds one more player, 3 down for Faze. Right now, this is the opportunity for Orbit. The 1-point toss comes in, and they score. Orbit making it a 1-possession game. But they're running out of time to work with, Mr. X. A minute 10 left on the clock.
Faze has to be careful, though. Like, the stall tactic has been working up until this point, but they've given up a lot of map control to Orbit now, and the aggression of Orbit's really paying off. Enable needs to go big here, set up on top of the bridge. He's going to land some shots, and he's going to fall. Just being a nuisance here is Enable, but this is such a power position. He's locking it down, and it is a big reason that Faze may end up taking this game. Those 2 kills are massive.
And then Zuma just goes ahead, pops his reactive armor, soaks up some damage, but his teammate able to trade out the kill there onto Joe. Now Faze was in forward position to work with Enable, just being a nuisance behind enemy lines. As he falls, it's going to be Clayster popping his overdrive, zipping past players, but can't get a score. Now 30 seconds remaining, Faze close to 3-0 Orbit here.
Yeah, no, with the drone in hand, Orbit is actually looking like they're going to go on the overextension with it, and they have an overdrive of their own. So with 24 seconds left, can Orbit get the drone in to tie this up with a 2-point play? It's going to be in the hands of Zero. He's going to get a melee.
Trying to reset it.
Trying to reset it there, but he's going to actually get taken out by Attach, and it's going to be Rated trying to get over towards the drone with 10 seconds left.
That's game.
It looks like this should be game, but if you're Orbit, why not have used the overdrive earlier?
I mean, yeah, they had a lot of time to use it. Faze, they're going to close this series out as they advance to the bracket portion here at the PlayStation Experience with a swift 3-0 over Orbit. European team. Gotta say, we saw a lot of mistakes in the search and destroy from them, as well as the uplink. And that final push there from Orbit, that's exactly why you can't push to the courtyard side of the map.
You can't push towards that courtyard side, and also you see just the small mistakes coming in. Right there, you had 2 players in support. You needed to use the overdrive. Even if you get nothing